I said, well, I said, I think I'm safe.
For the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, good morning. We will call this Tuesday, October 22nd, 2024 meeting to order. The Chair will make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
Motion in a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Motion carries. All right, Chair will also make a motion to approve the consent agenda A through P. Motion in a second. So, looking through there, there is an item on there that maybe, might be interest of some, but that's that 833 Cottonwood. I wish, just so you know, this is the property that we have taken. Oh, we bought, I guess, essentially. It was full of trailers, drug needles. The neighbors were begging us to do something with it. We cleaned it up. We got everything cleaned up. There was a fire there at time prior to us doing it. People living in campers, trailers, no running water. So anyway, it was easiest. And so we took it, but then we will be selling, auctioning off that property. We're not looking to make, we're just looking to recoup the money back, right? So that's 833. Do we have a date on that?
Go out next Wednesday and the following Wednesday and auction after the 12th.
All right, so that auction for the record is November 12th, just so everybody understands that, if you're looking at that property. Other than that, I think everything is kind of just, business as usual. So any further discussion on that?
No.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. All right, so we'll start with public comments. This is an opportunity to get roughly 3 minutes to kind of talk about what you would like in the county, what's going on in the county. And then after public comment, we will give Allison or whoever's coming your opportunity. So, is there any general discussion or public comment on that? State your name for the record, please.
Morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
My name's Tracy Winder. I'm a Moffett County resident. I just want to say that I support the resolution that's going to be read by my fellows.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Allison Anthony. I'm a citizen of Moffett County. This morning, I would just like to remind you that you three are our elected officials, and you have been elected to represent us, the people. You are not our bosses. We are your bosses. We respectfully requested to be put on the agenda for our resolution, and were denied for purposes that you have tried to explain. But I feel like as citizens of the community, our voices need to be heard in the way that we ask for them to be heard. Secondly, this resolution is something that is just explaining the laws that are on the books right now today. There's nothing scary about it unless you feel like we aren't doing those things. I feel like that is very questionable that you're scared to look at it. Because all we're doing is outlining the laws on the books today. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. Anybody else? Mr. Tom?
Commissioner, I just wanted to step up and just point out an award that happened recently at a
Yes.
tourism conference, and I wanted to just take a couple of minutes of the public's time for that. I wanted to point out in 1971, I came to Craig, Colorado, and began working for Adventure Bound River Expeditions, and I started my career supporting river trips and being a driver and a boatman, and then I turned into a trip leader, and then I moved on up the ladder there. 41 years ago today, is really what is the essence of this award that I received, was that I was representing my industry at the Colorado River Outfitters Association and represented Northwest Colorado. And I was put in a position to go to the legislature and talk about tourism and do those kinds of things. So that was 41 years ago. And I described to my board what I was asked to do, and I had no idea what it would be to go to the legislature and talk about why tourism is important. But I felt compelled to ask my board for it. It was $75 to have that dinner there downtown Denver at the Brown Palace. I had a motion from my board to pay for the young man's dinner and a haircut, and they sent me down to Denver and got going. But the point of the story is that I got started beyond just working for my own interests in my company. I turned into somebody that looked at the statewide perspective on things and worked on it. The award I received at the governor's conference was the final award of the night. It was in a series of awards. There was an award for frontline tourism people. There was a governor's award for excellence in diversity, a governor's award for top tourism workplace. There was an award for exemplary community tourism initiative, and there was a Rising Star Award. There was an award for the best marketing campaign in the state of Colorado. And then there was an award for the most outstanding volunteer, the person that many people really volunteered our welcome centers and really step up and do that job. And they awarded that. But the last award of the night, it was just, I was nominated by my local board. Cindy Looper put my name in as somebody to be considered. I really had no idea that I would be selected. It was an amazing thing to me, and I was not prepared to even begin to win. When they announced the finalists, I was not, all right, I made the list, that's kind of cool. But when they ran the video and said this person, and they started showing video of Moffat County, and I can tell you, it got me. I couldn't believe it. And 400 people were there, and they stood and gave me a round of applause, and I accepted the award that's in front of you. So I just want to stand in front of the public here and say that I did operate Adventure Bound for 33 years. I worked for it longer than that, but I needed to make a change, and I wanted to tell you that the 7.5 years that I've been here in Moffat County working as your tourism director, I truly appreciate that job. And I stand in front of you and say that I really take heart in the fact that you guys gave me a chance to do it, and my industry recognizing my work was amazing. So I plan on continuing to work for the people of Moffat County in this capacity. And I can tell you that I believe this is a win for Moffat County. There was a lot of other people in big destination marketing organizations. Visit Denver has almost 100 employees. Visit Colorado Springs has 26 employees. It's a big operation around town, but to have a small DMO from the northwest part of Colorado get this award was I think just a plain win for Moffat County. So I'm proud of my board. I'm proud of people in tourism up here. And I just wanted to point out that this was a significant deal. So that's the award I'm bringing home to you guys. Thank you.
We appreciate you, all your work that you do for tourism. And congratulations again on that. Anyone else want to have public comments on any subject for Moffat County? All right, hearing none, I will open, we are going to allow, there was a little bit, so I will explain a little bit of that. So when multiple reasons that this didn't get on to the agenda, right? And so I get you are the voice of the people, and we do respect. I think we've given you lots of times voices, opportunities to talk and meetings and all those things. So to say we didn't, I don't think that's accurate. No. This time we have a rule, if you're going to present a resolution, we have a policy in place that has to be 5 days prior to that, 5 business days prior to the thing. That's be prior to the agenda being presented. It was on Wednesday. Presented agenda had to be done Monday morning by 8:30. And so anyway, that was one thing. Another thing, our attorney said, hey, I've got phone calls from other people. There's a groups of people going to towns that don't even live in that town. So I emailed our attorney back and said, hey, these are local people. They're not people coming from out of town. I do feel like we should have added them to the agenda. We're not, but we can open up public comment to allow them to come in and have a conversation. Okay. And so to be unwritten, I'm not scared of this. I don't think we are scared of this resolution. I just think the reality is there's certain things coming. Some of us were out of town. And so anyway, so we are giving you an opportunity. So whoever's going to come up and want to read the resolution, we hope you come. And then if the commissioners feel after that moment that they want to have an extra meeting or whatever to pass the resolution or to discuss it in further detail, then we can do that in a special meeting if we needed to. So who was coming up to read? John? Please state your name for the record, if you would, just so we know who's reading this, and I'm sure everybody signed in to.
My name is Norm Culverwell. I live in Moffett County and have been a resident of Colorado for 79 years. I am a volunteer with United Sovereign Americans, not a spokesperson. United Sovereign American is a nationwide organization with thousands of active volunteers in over 20 states. Today, we come to you as concerned citizens, sharing alarming information about our state's voter database uncovered through thousands of hours of research conducted by our highly qualified and credentialed data team. Just like your checkbook must balance, so must our votes. If a company had a significant discrepancy in its books, the company would most certainly conduct an audit. In fact, yearly audits are required by law for all public companies. Our audit of the 2022 election using only official data provided by state elections officials shows that the 2022 election may not have been accurate or legally compliant. The state's official data from a certified election shows that the votes as counted were not all valid and accurate under the law. Today, we will present you with a resolution demanding an end to the inaccuracy and uncertainty plaguing our elections, along with a summary of our findings and the laws that apply. We are happy to meet with you, and if you have questions, we will commit to getting you the answers in writing from the United Sovereign American executive team as soon as possible. This data and our request for an investigation have been shared with state election officials and law enforcement. It's essential that you, as our representatives, make it clear that these issues must be taken seriously. Today, we come to you, our closest elected representatives, for support and action. We ask that you listen to the resolution, ask questions if you have them, and then vote promptly for its passage. Your action on this resolution will illustrate your dedication and support to the concerns of your constituents and your country. Thank you. And John will read the resolution.
Okay, thanks, Bob.
My name is John Williams. I live in Moffett County and have been a resident of Colorado for 75 years. I am a volunteer with United Sovereign Americans, not a spokesperson. United Sovereign Americans is a nationwide organization with thousands of active volunteers over 20 states. Resolution for a legally valid 2024 general election. Whereas it is a recognized civil right in the United States for every citizen to have a free and fair elections. Quote, and the right of suffrage can be denied by debasement or dilution of the weight of a citizen's vote just as effectively as by wholly prohibiting free exercise of the franchise, end quote. Reynolds v. Sims, 1964. Whereas it is the duty of our election officials to guarantee our elections are accurate and free from distortion or manipulation. Quote, Congress seeks to guard the election of members of Congress against any possible unfairness by compelling everyone concerned in holding the election to a strict and scrupulous observance of every duty devolved upon them while so engaged. The evil intent consists in disobedience of the law, end quote. N.R.E. Coy, 1888. Whereas our constitutional system of representative government only works when the following four tenets of an election are upheld. The voter rolls must be accurate. National Voter Registration Act of 1993. Votes counted must be from eligible voters. U.S. Constitution, 14th Amendment, Section 2. The number of votes counted must equal the number of voters who voted. There can be no more than 1 in 125,000 ballots in error by the voting system. Help America Act of 2002. Whereas an open source audit of the Colorado 2022 general election conducted by Colorado state citizens has uncovered evidence of massive inaccuracies that violate both federal and state laws, including 1,468,211 ineligible or uncertain registration violations found within the Colorado State Voter Roll database. 100,938 votes cast by ineligible or uncertain registrants. 34,912 more votes counted than voters who voted in the 2022 general election. No one knows who cast them. 100,917 apparent voting violations in excess of the legal standard of system accuracy for a valid federal election. Maximum allowable system errors for the 2022 general election was only 21. Certification is defined by law, and attestation of accuracy and compliance appears to have been fraudulent and illegal. Whereas these findings trample legal accuracy requirements of the voting system during a federal election. Accuracy is defined as the ability of the system to capture and report the specific selections and absence of selections made by a voter without error. Whereas the intent of the voters must be known factually before certification can be lawfully conducted. Certification of an election that varies from the law is an abridgment of the civil rights of the citizen, a fraud ab initio from the start. United States versus Throckmorton, 1878. Quote, from time immemorial, an election to public office has been in point of substance, no more and no less than the expression by qualified electors of their choice of candidates. United States v. Classic, 1941. Whereas Colorado's 2022 general election appears to have been invalid, depriving us of the guaranteed protection of our natural rights under a government duly and provably chosen by us, the American people, resulting in incalculable damage to our families, our way of life, and the fabric of the United States. Therefore, we call upon our representatives to provide relief to the people and the assurance of domestic tranquility by joining us in demanding a valid 2024 general election that upholds these existing laws and equitable principles of law. 1, proof of citizenship, identity, and eligibility to register and vote, not anonymous attestation. Voter rolls certified accurate and available for public review and challenge 30 days before the start of early voting. Voters added that after that date must bring proof of citizenship, identity, and address in person to a qualified official at a polling place. hand-marked, secure ballots similar to currency where imaging technology is used for tabulation. The security features must be verifiable in ballot image. 4, systems, machines, security measures, infrastructure, and conduct are required to be compliant with federal law for fraud prevention regarding risk assessment, certification, testing, and implementation. Adjudication must be signed off by party, candidate, and trained citizen witnesses after being given full and effective observation rights. Candidates and trained citizen must be allowed immediate access to ballots, ballot images, and CVRs. Ballots, regardless of entry source, election operations, and systems must maintain end-to-end chain of custody from voter to vote count to final canvass, including auditability and witnessed transfer with paper records. A NIST compliant, randomized, statistically valid, and end-to-end audit with a 95% confidence level of all elections pursuant to the 14th Amendment, Section 2 must be performed. These audits are to be conducted by qualified, insured, and bonded security, forensic, or financial auditors, not personnel from within the election system. Reconciliation will include the vote count, real physical ballots, adjudication, CVRs, ballot count, qualified voter count, custody transfer, and all other paper and electronic election systems, including logs. Number 8, if the total of the unique variance above is more than 10% of the margin of victory, a new election must be held in the state for those candidates affected, unless the issue can be provably corrected by manual hand count and full review of records. 9, waiver of requirements is not allowed. Only end-to-end system compliance from the registration through certification can guarantee the intent of the people is accurately recorded. Be it resolved that the Moffat County Board of Commissioners stand in support with the concern and remedies presented here. We implore the Colorado Legislature, federal legislature, law enforcement, federal and state prosecutors, judges and both Colorado State and County Boards of Elections to cooperate and fulfill these firm requests of the people. I would note, please see the provided appendix to the resolution for relevant applicable laws. All of this is based back to where it starts. There appears to be a large discrepancy. You're next.
Thank you, John. You just heard a powerfully written resolution outlining massive inaccuracies in our 2022 election, from registration through certification. In it, you heard us ask for meaningful remedies that will proactively protect the validity of the 2024 election for all Americans. In fact, the resolution cited many U.S. Supreme Court precedents that support the need for such action. Laws are being ignored. Bottom line, the voting system, which controls our most vitally important right, the right to choose our representatives, is not producing an accurate, trustworthy result. Do you think that these anomalies within our election system, a system which is part of our natural security infrastructure, should continue to be ignored? How much is it costing us not to fix the problem? The cost is immeasurable. So we urge you to show your agreement by passing this resolution. The United Sovereign American website has some extremely informative videos that explain the anomalies and apparent violations of law that are found here in Colorado as well as in other states. The website is uniteforfreedom.com. That's unite, the number 4, freedom.com. I encourage you to check it out. What you heard today is the culmination of thousands of hours of work by our highly qualified and credentialed volunteer data team from Colorado and across the country. Large numbers of Americans, including many right here in Colorado, have questioned about the trustworthiness of our elections. We wish this was not the case, but official data shows these concerns are valid, and the law says resolving them is essential in securing our liberty. At the same time, government representatives at all levels are not being transparent or responsive to what our citizen audits have found. Our right to choose our representatives in legally valid and transparent elections is the foundation upon which our constitutional republic was established. That right has been bravely protected for the past 2.5 centuries by the sacrifices of our brothers, fathers, mothers, and sisters. You on this board have a chance to show everyone who defended American liberty, and the citizens you represent that you value it also by passing this resolution demanding a valid general election in 2024. To that same end, please be advised that a federal lawsuit was filed in Colorado on September 10th, 2024 to ensure a legally valid 24 election by United Sovereign Americans and individual plaintiffs against the state of Colorado, the Colorado Secretary of State, the Attorney General of Colorado, and Merrick Garland as the U.S. Attorney General and head of the U.S. Department of Justice. Similar court actions have been filed in 8 other states. Plaintiffs revealed similar massive inaccuracies and breaches as those set forth in the resolution you just heard, and assert that the respondents need to perform their ministerial duties, requiring that federal elections be conducted in a conformity with the law. Petitioners seek redress from the harm brought upon them and the Colorado voters at large by the failure to comply with federal and state election laws. Thank you very much for your time and attention to this matter.
And I thank you.
Anything else? No?
No, I could go on, but, obviously with those kinds of numbers, there's a problem. And when it gets right down to it, it doesn't matter if I think there's a problem, if you think there's a problem, there's somewhere around 80 million a year constituents think there's a problem and that needs to be dealt with. So that's all I'll say. Thank you for your time.
Yeah. Do you have anyone else that wants to talk?
Tony, can I?
Go ahead, man. Oh, we're here. We might as well get it out on the open. Yep.
Yeah, for sure. Good morning, commissioners, and thank you for what you do for our community. I know you spend a lot of your personal time doing this. And I think, and I've listened to this, what they just brought up a couple times. And I heard something the other day, which to me, I think it's affecting our nation. It says, it says we have 3 branches of government. And I'm not trying to spread heresy, but I think we forget the most important 4th that we don't name. There's executive, judicial, legislative, and it's the people. This country is about the people. And I think you all have seen in America what's going on. How many people are in jail for January 6th for just going up there and trying to say, if you look at Arizona's numbers, their numbers are more atrocious than ours. Mm-hmm. We had a lady in Junction go to jail trying to make sure the elections were legitimate. And it's crazy what's going on. And honestly, I don't know if any of you have read the book, The Doctrine of Lesser Magistrates, and put it there. Well, you're the ones that we come to first, if you will. So I really hope and pray that you will look at this. Hopefully we can change America. I'm a little worried. We may have lost what we had, but it has to start now, and it has to start here, because I think you could understand
the way our Constitution was written and stuff, for somebody not to stand for our rights, and that is elected officials, it's us too, which I'm sorry the American people have just stepped back and kind of done nothing. But could it not almost be treason, what's going on? Because our rights are being decimated if we can't vote and have our votes counted rightly. I mean, I'm not blaming you three, comes from way above, but this is where we have to start. So I just would hope that whoever the lawyer is, I'm not sure what he was thinking or why. I'd like to hear when we're done with this, even in the paper, some what you three think about what's been brought up today, if you would.
For sure.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, Matt. Appreciate you. Anybody else? This is, I mean, normally we don't do this, but if we're here, we might as well. So that's all right.
I'll be short.
Commissioners with us.
I'll be quick.
I figured we'd be all right. You're all right.
John Serena, resident here in Moffett County, been resident of Colorado 15 out of the last 20 years. I did have a question about the lawyer advice. If that, does a lawyer, they swear an oath to the Constitution, US and Colorado? And if not, if they just have an oath of office to the ABA, which is usually the case, then that, that's a problem because they have no authority or jurisdiction to provide advice. We didn't elect them. But I just wondered.
Oh, well, let's stop for 1 second. And so
Yeah.
we hire the city, the county, they have a lawyer to, protect us, right? I'm not a lawyer. I don't know what to do. So you have a lawyer to advise you. They can't make the final decision. But obviously we have a lawyer that comes in that we say, hey, what do you think? And we don't just say, you know what, I know better than you and just check it. So that's why I stated that. He didn't understand because there was people in Colorado that have had people outside their state, outside their city, outside their county come in to push this in a room like this. And he had lawyers tell him that, like, we've had these incidents. And so that was really what it was. And so that's when I said, hey, these are local people. These are not people from outside of our community coming in. And that's why we're having this conversation.
But I mean, you understand it's unlawful for legislature to outsource legislation or for advice and consent from someone who hasn't sworn an oath to the US Constitution or Colorado Constitution. Maybe he has, I don't know. It's just a question.
Yeah.
And just to follow up on what Matt said, it's not the function of our government to keep the citizens from falling into error. It's actually our responsibility. It's function of we the people to keep the government from falling into error. And that's American Communications versus Dowd, 339 US and 1950. I just wanted to read really quick. I dug this up the other day. This is Article 2, Section 1 and 2 of the Colorado Constitution. It said all political powers is vested and derived from the people. All government of right originates from the people, is founded upon their will only, and is instituted solely for the good of the whole. And then Section 2 goes on. People may alter or abolish the form of government proviso. The people of this state have the sole and exclusive right of the governing governing themselves as free, sovereign, and independent state, and to alter and abolish the Constitution and form of government whenever they may deem necessary to their safety and happiness, provided such change not be repugnant to the Constitution of the United States. And then last, just wanted to read this little tidbit. Sovereignty itself, of course, not subject to law, for it is the author and the source of law. But in our system, while sovereign powers are delegated to the agencies of government, sovereignty itself remains with the people, by whom and for whom all government exists and acts. And the law is the definition and limitation of power. That's Booley versus Hopkins. And that's all I had. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Appreciate it. Anybody else? Okay, hearing none. Appreciate that conversation, and like I said, if we can set up a meeting with Aaron and we can have this conversation in detail. I mean, I've talked to a couple already about this resolution, and I have some questions about it as well. So maybe we can set up a meeting that some of you or all of you, whoever, can come if the commissioners will be willing to do that, which I know they are, to talk about it in detail. You know, like one of those questions we're not gonna, you don't have to answer, but maybe when we have that meeting, so you're prepared, is like, you would think that if this was so or so important, which I'm not saying it's not, why weren't this should have been out September 2nd, this first week in September, if they're wanting to dictate 30 days prior to these things, which are law, but wanted to make a resolution that says we are going to do these things, right, which we should be doing. We would do not hindsight, but it would be advanced, right? And I don't know where that all lines out, but let's have a conversation. If somebody would set that up with Erin, she can look at our schedules. We will meet. We'll have to meet in the back room somewhere, but that'd be all right. So if you would do that, that'd be greatly appreciated. All right. Appreciate that. Next, any general discussion?
I was just gonna say, I agree with what you said. I have some questions regarding the resolution as well that I would appreciate time
Yeah.
to develop.
I don't have a question on the law. I have a question on some of the resolution parts. So, all right. Any discussion from you, Commissioner Broom? Okay. All right. So we will go to Board of County Commissioners, number 1 on our agenda there. Approval of the DA's office 2025 budget request. It is on your screen this morning. Were you the only one there? Did you represented us in this meeting? Yeah. Yeah, so if you wanted to talk to it or to some degree, I've read it, but I just didn't know. We have this meeting every year.
Right, we have this meeting every year with the district attorney's office. And this for their budget, and they got their budget for the 2025 budget, which is Moffett County, Routt County, and Grant County. And we, all 3 counties come together for that district and help them with their budget. And this year, they had a few items in here that they needed to get a little bit more money for. So with all 3 counties, we didn't get a chance to vote at the same time the other counties voted on this. So you guys was gone, and then we had a conference call, and we couldn't do anything until today.
Okay. And so they're asking for a 12.4 increase or 11.3.
12.4.
On the update. Yeah, we had met with them.
On their pages.
Yeah, if we had met with them once and had a discussion, and then they came back with an increase after Donald and I had the first workshop with Matt Carson.
Yeah, that was you and I with the first one.
Yeah, and then the 3 counties together was just on.
I can tell you that we've been telling this group that that, hey, you know, Routt County just says we'll do it. Whatever the increase is, they'll do it. Grand County, just whatever the increase is, we'll do it. And we're saying, listen, our hands are a little tied here, guys. We're not Grand County. We're not Routt County. We don't have the money just to keep throwing at it. There is going to be a moment where we have to say,
There will be a moment we have to say, hey, no more. But, you know, I think that they look at it as Moffett County has more, use the system more than any of the other counties, which, you know, if we all in this together, I don't think that's the way it should be looked at.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
If we could get Route County to understand that all our workers work for them, work over there, maybe they can, pay this bill over.
Yeah, and the cost of living is going up for everybody.
Oh, man, it's crazy.
And the biggest problem is having somebody in the system be able to come and work to hire people and get them here,
Yep.
Sometimes you gotta tighten up your skates a little bit more, I guess, but anyway.
Oh, thank you. So what is our, pleasure here? They've already passed theirs. That was one of the things that I had an issue with, the first meeting we went to there. They wanted us to approve. Route County just goes and approves it at that meeting that we're there. Grand County approves it. And I said, I don't know how we approve something as commissioners that has a budget that's not before our budget's approved. Like, that was one of the arguments, that I had from the beginning, that you guys, I don't know if we're doing this correct. And they said, well, we've always done it this way. I said, yeah, but I don't know that we can approve your budget before we approve our budget. I think we have to approve our budget, and then at least start the process with our budget, and so this is in our budget that we already approved, or not approved, but did the first approval of it. Yeah. Yep. And so this is, I feel like, the right way to proceed in this when you go to Robert's Rules and Order and all those things. So yeah, what is our pleasure?
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion to approve the DA's Office 2025 budget request.
Yeah, that's presented.
Didn't even know.
I don't think so. No. You
The
could,
2025 estimate.
25 estimates. $666,270.
Yeah. I hate that number.
Yeah.
I know.
Should have changed it. I agree.
Yeah, sorry about that. I should have said that.
No, that's all right.
Second.
All right, motion and second. Any further discussion?
I just agree with you. At some point, we're not going to be able to sustain that increase over increase over increase, and I don't know what we do at that point.
Yeah.
What remedy we have.
And we don't want to wait too late, right? That's the problem. So all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. All right, the last thing on the agenda this morning is our appointment of the Fair Board. Fair Board has asked us if we could expand to 11 to 15, right?
Yeah.
Mostly for the fact that week of fair is crazy. It's busy. Everybody's taking a week off of time. And so not everybody can be there. So they're wanting a bigger thing. They haven't had the candidates yet there, but so today we're looking at renewing Karen Gerber, Stephanie Alstrom, and then adding Paula Duzick and Trent Vernon, right?
Yeah.
And so
2 of them reapplied.
2 of them replied, yeah. So Kelly Hepworth's term ended, and then Dorena Frederickson resigned, and her term ends at the end of 2025. So someone would just fill that term. Right? We said the board could figure out who they'd put as who fills that term. So we're looking at renewing Karen Gerber and Stephanie Alstrom, and then putting on the board Paula Duzick and Trent. Right.
Yeah, the motion to appoint 4 of those folks.
I'll second.
Any further discussion?
Just appreciate people willing to step up. It's a really busy time for those 2 weeks of fair and planning to make it happen.
They've done a great job, and every year trying to make it better and bigger, and not just for fair kids, trying to make it for the community and people that don't maybe aren't involved in fair. They're doing a great job trying to include everybody. So I appreciate all that. So, all right, all in favor?
All right.
Aye. Motion carries. All right, so that is all we have on the agenda today. Our next Board of County Commissioner meeting will be November 12th, 2024, 8:30 a.m. right here in the Commissioner Chamber,
With auction to follow
with auction to follow.
at 833 Cottonwood.
Okay, We're good.